That year, my wife's company was on the verge of bankruptcy. I divorced her when she was at her lowest. I took her only assets and left with a rich woman. 7 years later, she became a rising star in the business world. The elite respectfully called her President Sue. As for me, I became penniless, abandoned by the rich woman, utterly destitute. When I met Su Wangking again, it was in a private room at Jinyuan. She walked in, arm in arm with a famous, handsome male celebrity. Su Wangking looked at me for a long time. She kicked the cleaning tools in my hand with the tip of her shoe. She couldn't help but sneer. "What's wrong? Past your prime? Was that white lotus flower abandoning you? Or did you know I would be here today, so you rushed to pretend to be pitiful to gain sympathy? Seeing that I'm not dead now, and living even better than before, do you regret it?" The mirror wall reflected my thin figure and my dry, unkempt hair. I clutched the mop tightly in my hand. My heart ached in sharp pangs. The fatigue and numbness in my eyes completely vanished. My bright eyes gazed towards Su Wangking. The corners of my mouth curved slightly upward, forming a distinct curve. "Regret? I should have sold your address to a competitor back then. At least I would have made some money." A piercing sound rang out. Lu Chen punched me in the face. "Do you have any shame? What did Wangking ever do to you that you would hurt her like this?" I was already unstable, unable to stand firm, so I fell to the ground. The bucket of dirty mop water next to me spilled, splashing all over me. The corner of my mouth quickly swelled and bruised. My wrist was also scraped, bleeding slightly. My legs, which were already numb, now completely lost feeling. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stand up. Limb paralysis is a complication. I thought I could hold on for a bit longer, but I didn't expect my legs to be crippled after just 1 year. I looked up. Su Wangking was holding Lu Chen's wrist, examining it. "All right, don't be angry anymore. Your hand is all red. I'll have someone bring an ice pack for you." "Wangking, I can't stand this guy talking about you like that. He has no idea how much you've suffered this past year." I said nothing. How could I not know? When Su Wangking's company first went bankrupt, that was the hardest time. Creditors came every day demanding payment, the only chance to turn things around, but we couldn't find investors. The two of us went everywhere, pleading with others, hitting walls everywhere. Every penny had to be stretched thin. During those dark days, I was always by Su Wangking's side. I didn't just know those hardships, I experienced them with Su Wangking. Su Wangking patted the man's shoulder. "Sichuan, be good. No need to waste time on this kind of person." The man calmed down after a few words of coaxing from her. He smiled and linked arms with her again. When he looked at me, his eyes were full of contempt and disdain. "Why aren't you getting up? Who are you putting on this pitiful act for? Everyone who enters and exits Jinyuan is either rich or noble. This weak, pitiful, pretty boy act to gain sympathy. How many times do you perform it every day? Despising the poor, loving the rich, flattering superiors, trampling inferiors. A person like you, who only sees money, is he even worthy of appearing before me and wanking? Where's the manager of Jinyuan? Letting all sorts of people into Jinyuan, aren't you afraid of soiling this place?" I averted my gaze, no longer looking at the two in front of me. I lowered my head and said with a smile, "You're right. I indeed value money above all else. You just hit me. If you don't compensate me, I'll go out and expose you. Surely Big Star Lu wouldn't want to get involved in this kind of scandal, right?" As soon as I opened my mouth, I was demanding money. A prolonged silence followed. The smile on Su Wangking's face vanished. "Song Sichuan, why aren't men like you dead yet?" These words were gritted out through clenched teeth, her voice filled with hatred and fury. I lifted my head and laughed loudly, a triumphant expression on my face. The numbness in my legs receded, and I felt a little sensation. I gripped the railing beside me and stood up, a famous big star hitting a cleaner in public, causing the cleaner to become crippled in both legs. Such news must be worth quite a bit of money, right? "Su Wangking, how about we add each other on WeChat and talk privately?" Lu Chen panicked. "You still want to be friends with Wangking? Dream on. How much money do you want?" I held up one finger. 10 million. If you give it, I'll scram far away and absolutely won't utter another word." Lu Chen wanted to say something, but Su Wangking stopped him. This was just as I predicted. No one understood Su Wangking better than I did. She hated betrayal, hated being threatened, and especially hated those who would stop at nothing for money. Heh, what a coincidence. I've done all these things before. Sure enough, Su Wangking stared at me, her angry expression mixed with disgust. "Dreaming in broad daylight, are you even worthy?" She kicked away the cleaning tools that were in my way. A shard of glass flew up, cutting my bare arm. She acted as if she didn't see it, striding away. Lu Chen put his hands in his pockets. His mood had calmed down, returning to his usual arrogant demeanor. He looked at me as if I were a clown. "I overestimated you. A man like this? How could he ever make Su Wangking turn back?" His previous worry was completely unnecessary. He casually pulled out a few yuan notes from his wallet, offering them to me as if giving charity. "Don't you want compensation? You're only worth this much." After saying that, he loosened his grip, a mocking smirk on his lips, then turned and followed Su Wangking. I looked at the few hundred yuan scattered on the ground. A moment later, I still leaned against the wall and slowly squatted down, picking up each banknote. As I kept picking, my eyes couldn't help but redden. It's truly good. Su Wangking is still that Su Wangking, but I am no longer the me of the past. My brother, who works in HR at Jinyuan, Jia Qiang, ran over in his leather shoes, hastily supporting me from behind. "Are you okay? Don't pick them up anymore. Lu Chen is just using his influence to bully people. Don't take what he said to heart. Su Wangqing is truly. You two were together for so many years after all. How could she let some celebrity treat you like that? Not wanting my brother to worry, I held back my tears and smiled at Xia Qiang. It's okay. This money is equivalent to several days of my wages. My deliberately casual tone made Xia Qiang's eyes redden. He patted my back firmly to comfort me. Your illness will definitely be cured. Water covered the floor, reflecting the dazzling lights above. For a moment, I saw a few loose coins in the water. On the third day after Su Wangqing's company went bankrupt, I finally couldn't bear it anymore. Running around for days, combined with almost 24 hours without rest, my heart couldn't take it, and I fainted. The rental room deep in the alley was almost never visited by anyone. When I woke up, I was still in the same spot. Su Wangqing hadn't returned either. I felt a bit lucky, but my nose stung uncomfortably. The doctor's words echoed in my ears. Young man, why did you come alone? Where is your family? This illness is quite serious. We still need to inform your family. Your illness cannot be prolonged any further. You must be hospitalized for treatment immediately. This complication is also very serious. Walk a few steps for me. Oh dear, this won't do. If it continues like this, your legs will be crippled. Treatment costs are a bit high, but if you apply for subsidies, an average family can still afford it. In the iron box next to me, there were a few scattered tens of yuan. There were also a few watches and bracelets, completely out of place with the surroundings. These were small items I bought on a whim. After Su Wangqing went bankrupt, they became the only remaining assets we had. All of these combined weren't enough for a single treatment. The door was pushed open. Su Wangqing, with eyes red from staying up all night, tried to compose herself and smiled as she walked in. The tofu dessert shop at the alley entrance is open, Sichuan. Come quickly and eat it while it's hot. I like sweet things. Before, Su Wangqing used to buy me $1,000,000 cakes without batting an eye. Now that she's bankrupt, she still remembered to bring me a sweet tofu dessert. I didn't joyfully jump towards it like usual. I just said hoarsely, Su Wangqing, let's break up. She didn't seem to understand what I meant. After realizing, she tried to act calm, stepped forward and held my hand. Sichuan, what's wrong? Don't joke like that. I knocked over the bowl of sweet tofu dessert she offered and pushed her away forcefully. I've had enough of this impoverished life, Su Wangqing. Please let me go. Living here every day is filled with fear. Never eating enough, never dressing warmly. As soon as I open my eyes, creditors are knocking. I'm not even sure if I'll see the sun tomorrow. I'm going crazy. Su Wangqing, I beg you, please let me go. In that instant, the light in Su Wangqing's eyes extinguished, leaving only a dark night. She still wanted to hold on. Give me some time. I can. I don't want to hear another word. I've given you enough time already. A florist friend I know in Country M has contacted me. She hopes to take me abroad. Su Wangqing, the life you can't give me, she can give me. These words were like the final straw that crushed her. After a long silence, she could only slowly nod. You go. Without a moment's hesitation, I also conveniently took all the remaining money in that dilapidated house. I don't blame Su Wangqing. If it were me, betrayed by the person I loved most at the hardest time of my life, I might have been even crueler than Su Wangqing. Sichuan, tell Su Wangqing. Tell her you drank until your stomach bled at the banquet to help her secure the first investment. Tell her you risked your life to save her from the fire. If you tell her these things, you will be saved. With Su Wangqing's current status and capabilities, finding a top medical team is absolutely no problem. I can still be saved. I stammered and shook my head. I can't tell her. She is someone with immense pride. Won't she regret these things her entire life if she knew? The treatment is very painful. I don't want to be cured anymore. It wasn't easy for her to get this far. Don't ruin her life any further. Xia Qiang was speechless. Su Wangqing in just a short year revived the conglomerate. With such capability, news of her is all over the streets. If I had wanted to ask for help, I would have done it long ago. How could I have waited until now? Let's go. Let's bandage your wound. This afternoon, go to the back kitchen to help out. With your legs like this, you can continue cleaning. Don't worry, your salary will remain the same. I felt relieved and obediently followed him. As soon as we reached the lobby, we immediately heard the entire lobby playing a special congratulatory melody. Vibrant celebratory fireworks bloomed outside the manor. CEO Su spent a whopping 10 million to buy Lu Chen, a rare bottle of wine from the rooftop. Opened right there and enjoyed right there. So cool. Oh my goodness, 1,000 gold for a smile. Indeed, it's the great star Lu Chen. Indeed, it's Su Wangqing. Although the manager had some complaints about me angering the hotel's big client with Xia Qiang mediating, my job was still kept. Tell me, why did Su Wangqing suddenly come back? Things were going well for her abroad. Why come back here? In the afternoon, work wasn't busy. Xia Qiang leaned back in his chair, spinning a pen. I sat quietly by the window, watching the people passing by outside. Hearing that, I shook my head. I don't know. Xia Qiang sighed. As soon as the news of her return spread, several clients called me, wanting to know if they could meet her once at Jinyuan. I turned them all down. I don't understand business matters, but didn't she just develop a new software? Is it that impressive? Everyone is scrambling to meet her. My lips curved into a smile. My mood rarely this good. You know, she's always been very impressive. From childhood to adulthood, Su Wangqing was always the child of another family type. Everything was excellent. It seemed nothing could ever stump her. Over 20 years of her life, her only failure was probably being framed into bankruptcy and being betrayed by the one she deeply loved. That's why Su Wangqing hates me so much. Xia Qiang looked at me, and after a moment of hesitation spoke. Sichuan, how about you quit your job? You'll find a way for your surgery fees. This small world only has so much. If you continue to stay at Jinyuan, it'll be hard to avoid meeting Su Wangqing again. Xia Qiang hadn't finished speaking. Jinyuan is a place where anyone with a bit of reputation in Suzhou likes to come for entertainment. Even if you don't meet Su Wangqing, meeting Lu Chen won't be a good thing either. I calmly shook my head. Compared to work, they aren't important. With my health condition like this, if not for Xia Qiang, no place would hire me. I need money. Xia Qiang has already helped me too much. I won't bother Xia Qiang about medical expenses anymore. Knowing I was stubborn, Xia Qiang didn't say much. He just took a card from his pocket and pressed it into my hand. I have to go on a business trip to the south for a while. This money is for your emergency fund. If you really can't bear it, don't push yourself, okay? To reassure Xia Qiang, I finally took the card. I'm a cleaner. If I deliberately avoid people, I basically want to have a chance to meet clients. It's just that I didn't seek others out, but others came right to my door. After I pushed open the private room door with my cleaning tools, the floor was covered in broken porcelain shards. Amidst the blaring singing, the clients were still having fun. I was used to this sight, didn't even look up, and just focused on cleaning the floor thoroughly. But just as I finished cleaning the floor, a full glass of wine fell in front of me. The floor was messy again. Sorry, my hand slipped. Would you mind cleaning it up again? The familiar voice made me instinctively look up. It was Lu Chen. The handsome face of the other person wore an innocent smile. As soon as the glass in his hand dropped, someone immediately handed him a new one. I said nothing, lowered my head and began to clean again. I cleaned it once, and Lu Chen's hand slipped again. I remained silent throughout the process, like a robot. I knew Lu Chen was here to cause trouble. The more I resisted at this moment, the more gleefully he would smash things. Better to just silently do my job, until all the glasses in the room were smashed by Lu Chen's slipping hand. Only then did he get bored, waving his hand. How dull. My hands were so tired they felt numb, my actions of clearing shards entirely instinctive. Hearing Lu Chen's words, I finally let out a sigh of relief inwardly. The next second, a card fell in front of me. Amidst the latest pile of broken glass was the card Xia Qiang had given me. The deposit slip wrapped around the card. The amount of money is clearly 10,000. That 10,000 yuan card still needs to be given by others. Song Sichuan still hasn't given up pretending to be pitiful in front of Wang Qing, has he? Lu Chen's sarcastic words echoed in my ears. I didn't pay attention. I just touched my empty pocket. I didn't know when this card fell out. Ignoring the sharp fragments, I bent down to pick up the card. I wiped it clean and put it back in my pocket. My fingertip was cut by a shard, but I didn't feel any pain. I just started cleaning up again. Seeing that I didn't answer, Lu Chen got angry again, kicking over my trash can. What are you pretending for? Wang Qing isn't here. Who are you putting on this pitiful act for? Song Sichuan, no one here pities you. Oh right, you have an acquaintance in Jinyuan, don't you? Someone named Xia Qiang? Do you need me to have the manager call him over here to watch your pathetic act? I don't understand. I clearly didn't do anything, so why is Lu Chen going crazy at me? If Lu Chen only wants to see me live an unfortunate life to satisfy his competitive ego, then I can fulfill his wish. It's not an act. I truly lack money, and life is very difficult. So please, Mr. Lu, be merciful and give me a break. It doesn't matter how many more glasses Lu Chen breaks. It's just cleaning. I'm used to it. But I can't implicate Xia Qiang. My spineless, begging appearance must have truly pleased Lu Chen. The other party stopped mentioning Xia Qiang and instead looked at me with a smile. Short on money? If you're short on money, I can give it to you. Lu Chen smiled craftily and had someone open several new bottles of wine in front of me. Then came stacks and stacks of cash. One bottle of wine is 50,000. Drink as much as you want and you can take that much. We're old acquaintances after all. If you're in trouble, I naturally have to give you a hand. The crowd around watching the spectacle immediately burst into laughter. Some flattered Lu Chen, some ridiculed me, and others, enjoying the commotion, fearless of trouble, placed cash on the table to increase the stakes. Looking at those stacks of money, I felt a bit flustered. I'd been cleaning here for a whole year and hadn't even earned a tenth of this amount. With this money, I could immediately contact the hospital to prepare for surgery. An opportunity like this won't come a second time. Just drink, and the money will be mine, right? I seriously raised my head and confirmed with Lu Chen. The other party raised an eyebrow and smiled, completely disregarding this amount of money. Of course. The next second, I didn't hesitate at all, picked up the bottle of wine, and started drinking. Immediately, cheers and shouts of encouragement erupted around me. My stomach, which hadn't touched alcohol for over a year, immediately churned, and a burning, painful sensation spread throughout my body. I swallowed down the entire bottle, suppressing the pain, carefully hugging the 5 stacks of money placed in front of the bottle to my chest. 50,000. Everyone sneered with contempt. Lu Chen was even more sarcastic. He really fell into the money pot. Worthless trash. I didn't pay attention. After a short break, I immediately started drinking the second bottle. After finishing it, just as before, I carefully hugged the money to my chest before starting on the third bottle. 100,000, 150,000. 3 bottles of wine down, and my whole body was no longer clear-headed, but I still clutched the money tightly to my chest, unconsciously reaching for the 4th bottle. The manager, afraid of a death occurring but not daring to provoke Lu Chen, could only break out in a cold sweat and secretly slip away. Lu Chen watched the manager's actions, smiled, and didn't stop him. Song Sichuan, didn't you want to pretend to be pitiful in front of Wang King? The chance is here. You better seize it. When Su Wang King walked in, I was drinking the 4th bottle of red wine. She didn't even glance at me, walking straight to Lu Chen's side and putting her arm around his shoulder. Wang King, why are you only here now? I'm drunk. The person who was sober a moment ago, seeing Su Wang King, immediately put on a drunken act. Su Wang King took the opportunity to support him, looking displeased at me, who was still drinking. I had drunk too much. I no longer felt pain, sitting on the pile of broken glass without any reaction, numbly clutching the wine bottle and drinking. Why is he here? Everyone present was a good friend of Lu Chen's and naturally knew about the relationship between Su Wang King and me. They weren't sure what Su Wang King's attitude towards me was, so they cautiously began to speak. This guy is short on money and came to Lu Chen to beg. Lu Chen had no choice, so he just used the excuse of playing a game to give him the money. Seeing Su Wang King's increasingly grim expression, the speaker dared not continue and had to shut up. For a moment, the room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. 200,000. My consciousness was no longer clear, but after finishing the wine, I still remembered to take the money, my movements extremely slow but incredibly careful, clutching the 200,000 tightly to my chest. Su Wang King looked at the money, her gaze as cold as ice. Seeing that I was still reaching for the 5th bottle, the manager didn't dare stop me and hurriedly stepped forward with a conciliatory smile. Madam Su, he can't drink anymore. Drinking more will kill him. Su Wang King gave a cold laugh. A money grubber who doesn't care about his life. What does his life or death have to do with me? With that, she half-supported the heavily drunk Lu Chen and strode out of the private room. The remaining people no longer dared to pry, scattering like a flock of birds. Only then did the manager rush forward and pull me, completely unaware of what was happening around me. I was still holding the bottle of wine. When I woke up, I opened my eyes to see an IV drip hanging above me. Xie Qiang had been watching over me all night, dozing off against the bedside cabinet. When he saw I was awake, he was both excited and angry. Song Sichuan, do you have a death wish? I was only gone for a few hours, and you've tortured yourself into this state. If you really harmed yourself to death, would you be worthy of the care I've given you for the past year? Heaven knows how worried he was when the manager called him. He was worried sick. As my mind cleared, what returned faster than reason was the intense pain radiating from my limbs. I immediately let out a cry, startling Xia Qiang into a panic. What's wrong? Wasn't I just worried? I didn't mean to blame you. After the doctor came in and gave me a painkiller injection, I was in so much pain that I broke into a cold sweat before I felt like I was alive again. Xia Qiang stood beside me, his eyes red-rimmed, angry in his heart but not daring to speak. Only a look of deep sorrow remained in his eyes. The manager of Jinyuan walked in, carrying a large bag. As soon as he entered, he was immediately scolded by Xia Qiang. I told you to look after him. You pushed him right in front of Lu Chen. Are you intentionally trying to kill him? All right, brother, calm down. I didn't know Lu Chen was in there. I just thought it was normal cleaning. How was I supposed to know something like this would happen? It's all my fault. Please don't be angry anymore. Xia Qiang kept scolding until his anger subsided. In truth, everyone knew, if Lu Chen deliberately wanted to cause trouble for me, no one could stop him. Xia Qiang grabbed my hand. Sichuan, let's go find Su Wang King. Without Su Wang King, Lu Chen wouldn't dare to bother you again. My head hurt a little. At this moment, I held Xia Qiang's hand to comfort him, telling Xia Qiang not to get agitated. It's useless to look for her. She was there when I was drinking. Even though my consciousness was hazy then, I will never forget when Su Wang King walked in. I immediately saw the face carved deep into my heart. Lu Chen was promoted by Su Wang King herself. If Su Wang King hadn't implicitly agreed, how could Lu Chen have dared to cause trouble for me? In the end, it's just because Su Wang King doesn't care about my life or death. When I left back then, I hoped Su Wang King could completely forget me. Now Su Wang King has achieved that, treating me completely as a stranger. Why does my heart feel so uncomfortable? Xia Qiang looked at the man beside him in surprise. The manager of Jingyuan reluctantly nodded, and only then did Xia Qiang believe this truth. This bitch, after all these years of feelings, how could she tolerate Lu Chen tormenting me like this? I smiled bitterly. Compared to what I did to her back then, what is this little torment? After all, I'm still lying here peacefully now, but Su Wang King was driven to bankruptcy by her competitors, then abandoned by me without hesitation, and almost died in that alley. Comparatively, Su Wang King has been merciful enough to me. Not wanting to think too much about these things, I looked towards the large bag the manager brought in. The money Lu Chen gave, it must all be counted as my tip, right? After all, it's several 100,000, and the other party came to Jingyuan to spend money. If Jingyuan wanted to take it, I would have nothing to say. Xia Qiang sighed. The amount you've already spent and haven't spent yet, added together, is a total of 370,000. It's all here, all yours. This life-saving money that I exchanged with my life, no matter what the group says, he must help me keep this money. My eyes clearly lit up, and I gave the happiest smile I'd had in a year. It's enough, the surgery money is enough, Qiangzi. I can finally have surgery. After scheduling the surgery with my attending physician, I felt a relief I had never experienced before. I ignored the burning sensation remaining in my stomach, happily marking the calendar with the surgery date. 7 days later, I will go under the knife. If I can survive it, I'll be able to recover my health. If not, I won't have to endure the torment of illness anymore. It would be a release. The surgery money is enough. You don't need to work anymore. For these few days, just stay put in the hospital and rest. Don't run around. Xia Qiang ordered me to stay put. I didn't argue, clutching the calendar and smiling foolishly. The sound of leather shoes clacking echoed from outside the door. We both looked up and saw Lu Chen looking at me with a scrutinizing expression. Song Shichuan, you actually have heart disease. Heaven has eyes. You're going to die. Lu Chen's appearance here was entirely a coincidence, but everyone knew that Lu Chen knowing about my illness was definitely not a good thing. Xia Qiang stood up, shielding me. Mr. Lu, what are you saying? Song Shichuan just has acute gastritis. He'll be fine after a few days of rest. Lu Chen looked at Xia Qiang as if he were looking at an idiot, raised his hand and shook the medical record in his hand. It's such a coincidence. Song Shichuan's attending physician and my cousin's attending physician are the same person. Didn't you know? After speaking, he smiled brightly, his gaze passing over Xia Qiang to me on the hospital bed. I heard you're about to have surgery, so it seems you found a suitable heart. Tell me, what if that heart and my cousin just happened to be compatible? As soon as Lu Chen left the hospital, he immediately called Su Wanqing. Wanqing, my cousin is sick. Very seriously ill. He's taken care of me since I was little. If something really happens to him, what do you want me to do? His choked voice, filled with pain, immediately made the person on the other end of the line feel distressed. Don't worry. What happened? Tell me slowly. On the top floor of the Su group, Lu Chen's face still held a worried expression. Su Wanqing reached out and gently patted his back to comfort him. It's not a big deal. Since there's a matching heart, I'll have someone from the hospital make a call. Don't worry anymore, your eyes are all red. Lu Chen complained. If it doesn't work out, you stop caring about me? Do you love me? Do you? Su Wanqing herself didn't know that the man in front of her and a certain figure in her deep memories overlapped. He had also once, with eyes full of expectation, asked her how long she would like him. Her gaze slightly faded, and Su Wanqing suddenly felt annoyed. She stood up and returned to her desk, casually replying, Don't think too much. The company still has work to deal with. You should go first. Not getting a satisfactory answer, Lu Chen made a fuss for a long time before finally leaving. After leaving Su Wanqing's office, Lu Chen's assistant immediately received a call from the hospital. Young Master Cheng's surgery is scheduled for the day after tomorrow. Lu Chen, is it really okay? If President Su finds out that this heart was snatched from Song Shichuan, the assistant hadn't finished speaking when Lu Chen interrupted him in a deep voice. Shut up. He vigilantly looked around, and only after confirming there was no one else did he cast a satisfied glance at his assistant. What do you mean, snatched? Does it have Song Shichuan's name written on it? Since it's a public resource, whoever has the highest compatibility gets it. These are all hospital decisions. What does it have to do with who this heart was originally intended for? After speaking, he smugly rotated his wrist, showing off the new designer watch he was wearing. This was a gift Su Wanqing had just bought for him at an auction. It was worth tens of millions, and besides, the person Wanqing loves now is me. She won't care about that man's life or death. So even if Su Wanqing knew about this, he wasn't afraid. Wanqing's hatred for that man, he had already seen very clearly. The assistant dared not refute and could only nod in agreement with his words. Lu Chen is right. In the hospital room, I took the phone I had just hung up from my ear, sitting blankly on the hospital bed. My eyes returned to their former numb and sorrowful look. I prepared everything needed for the surgery. I just need a caregiver. I need to find someone trustworthy, and I need to look more. What's wrong? You were just happy a moment ago. Xia Qiang walked in carrying many bags, seeing my despondent state. I smiled bitterly. No need to look anymore. The surgery time has been postponed. Xia Qiang was surprised. What happened? The doctor said the family who originally agreed to donate, that heart has temporarily changed their minds. So, My words weren't finished, but Xia Qiang already flared up. Damn it, what do you mean temporarily changed their minds? It must be that Lu Chen bastard playing tricks behind our backs. Xia Qiang stepped forward and gripped my hand tightly. Shichuan, I'm going to find Su Wanqing. Other matters can be ignored, but this major issue of life and death, we can't act on impulse. He knew I didn't want to bother Su Wanqing and didn't want any more involvement with her, but a chance to live was right before my eyes. I should seize it for myself, just this once. I was silent for a long time. Everyone has the instinct to survive. If I didn't have enough money or a suitable heart source, I wouldn't force it. But now a chance to live was right before my eyes, and I still didn't want to die. I looked up, forcing a smile to reassure Xia Qiang. I'll go myself, even if nothing comes of it. It's good to see her one last time. In the coffee shop, I wore a casual white outfit. Walking against the light, I stood before the woman sitting in the corner. Su Wanqing. What a coincidence. You're here too. Hearing that voice, familiar beyond familiarity, Su Wanqing's hand, holding documents, froze. A flicker of surprise flashed in her eyes. Immediately after, a storm surged within them. Her voice held unconcealed disgust. To be able to follow me all the way here, you truly are a lingering ghost. There aren't many coincidences like this because I've never liked drinking bitter things like coffee. My appearance here is absolutely no accident. Watching Su Wangqing, who didn't even bother to lift her head to look at me, I secretly sighed inwardly. I sat down properly across from her. You've seen through me, Jieji. So it'll be direct, Su Wangqing. I need a heart. Otherwise, I will die. Could you give me the heart meant for Chengyi first? I've already inquired. Chengyi's illness isn't severe enough to require surgery, so Chengyi fundamentally doesn't need that heart. But I do. Finally, I added such a sentence. Su Wangqing sneered, completely ignoring my words. She spoke with a mocking expression. What right do you have? Speechless for a moment, I stood before her in a casual white outfit, clean and tidy, silently looking at her. My gentle smile immediately pulled her memories back to a few years ago. After a momentary daze, a tempest raged in her deep black eyes. Boundless hatred screamed within her heart. Su Wangqing grew even more exasperated. What right do you have to beg me, Song Shichuan? Do you know how disgusting you look like this? Moreover, back then, when I begged you, did you give me a chance? Su Wangqing stood up. I instinctively quickly grabbed her sleeve. Su Wangqing, I'm telling the truth. I really need that heart. Su Wangqing closed her eyes. Her mind was filled with my heartlessness when I left, and that fire that burned for an unknown duration. The coffee shop door was pushed open violently. Lu Chen, wearing a flamboyant red suit, rushed in. He shoved my hand, which was holding Su Wangqing, away. Song Shichuan, why aren't you staying put in the hospital and coming to find Wangqing? Hearing the two words hospital, Su Wangqing frowned and looked at Lu Chen. You met him at the hospital? His heart, he just said. Lu Chen's gaze softened. He nodded sadly. The people at Jingyuan said that young Master Song had severe gastritis from drinking too much alcohol. I felt a bit guilty, so I went to the hospital to visit him. I already gave him some money. Young Master Song then said he had forgiven me, and even went to visit my cousin with me. I didn't expect him to suddenly come looking for you. GGA Wangqing. It's all because I wasn't good. I've caused you trouble. Su Wangqing's expression darkened even further, until she finally laughed out of anger. So that's how it is. She stared at me. You just said you wanted a heart. What new trick are you using to scam money now? Song Shichuan, you can even trample on human lives. Tell me, how much do you want this time? Or do you think pretending to be pathetic can win my sympathy? I, Su Wangqing, was foolish before, not despicable. I didn't expect her to think of me that way. Still intending to explain a little, I immediately shook my head. I didn't. But Su Wangqing had no intention of listening further. Song Shichuan, I'd rather have never known you. Just a few short words made my heart clench in an instant, hurting so much I couldn't breathe. My limbs gradually lost sensation, and even my consciousness became blurred. My illness suddenly relapsed. I had no strength left, grabbed the hem of Su Wangqing's turning dress. In the end, I still turned towards Su Wangqing's retreating back and smiled. What a pity, I couldn't fool you this time. Su Wangqing, goodbye. From now on, we are separated by heaven and earth, never to meet again. Su Wangqing, never again. In the brightly lit banquet hall, Su Wangqing held a glass of red wine, sitting on a soft sofa. Her hand rested on her forehead, eyes closed, resting. A business banquet. Countless people wanted to discuss cooperation with Su Corporation. Guests offering toasts were incessant. Su Wangqing could no longer remember how much she had drunk. The host on stage began another round of atmosphere-stirring activities, a bit noisy. She stood up, intending to leave. Amidst clinking glasses, the corner of her eye caught sight of a not-so-unfamiliar figure not far away. She paused slightly. Shen Jiangjiang, she thought she had misseen. The other party wore a perfectly tailored long dress. When she spoke and laughed, she was gentle and elegant, completely different from the young ruffian girl we met in Country M that year, who would flirt with handsome men passing by. But how could she be mistaken? That year, when she was at her lowest, I betrayed and abandoned her for this very woman. The other party seemed to sense her burning gaze. Those beautiful peach blossom eyes looked over. Seeing her, there was a hint of surprise. Immediately after, across the crowd, she raised a wine glass in her hand towards Su Wangqing. Su Wangqing let out a cold laugh, turned and left. Since they've all gathered in Su City, then Shen Jiangjiang and I, she won't spare anyone. On the top floor of Su Corporation, Su Wangqing's fingers flew across the keyboard. On the computer screen, the stock chart of Shen Corporation, under her control, plummeted without restraint. By the time everything was over, it was 3 a.m. Su Wangqing irritably hung up on Lu Chen's call, the umpteenth call. Her mind was full of the images she had seen tonight. Shen Jiangjiang at the banquet. So where was Song Shichuan? She didn't see me. Thinking back carefully, the last time she saw me was over a month ago. Before that, I had, time and again, created coincidences to appear before her. The past month had been unusually quiet. Her eyebrows twitched repeatedly. Thinking of the words I had spoken during our last meeting, Su Wangqing still dialed the phone number she had always kept on her blacklist but had memorized long ago. Even if she wanted to trap me again, she still wanted to see how despicable I could be. The phone rang twice before someone answered. Perhaps the name wasn't saved. The other party's tone was distant, polite. Hello, good day. It wasn't the voice she expected. Su Wanqing frowned slightly, reconfirming the phone number once more. Only after being sure she hadn't dialed incorrectly did she speak, asking for Song Shichuan. On the other end of the line, Xia Qiang rubbed his swollen red eyes. It took him a moment to remember whose familiar voice this was. Immediately, anger flared. Su Wanqing, do you still have the nerve to call Shichuan? How can there be a woman in this world as cruel and heartless as you? Recognizing Xia Qiang's voice, Su Wanqing laughed coldly. Her voice was full of mockery. Cruel and heartless, isn't that a term for Song Shichuan? Tell him, the heart he mentioned before, I can find another one for him. Tell him to come find me and get it himself. The man on the other end suddenly burst into laughter. His laughter was even a little manic. Ha ha ha, no need for the heart anymore. Keep it and make soup to drink yourself. You and Lu Chen are both murderers. You've killed Song Shichuan. I wish you both a lifetime of unrest and an ill-fated death. Xia Qiang hung up the phone fiercely. Holding the black and white photo frame, she burst into tears again. After Su Wanqing returned to her peak, someone who dared to hang up on her like that, Xia Qiang was still the first. But at this moment, her heart was filled more with doubt than anger. What did murderer mean? Who died? How could it be Song Shichuan? A man like him who always knew how to avoid harm and seek profit to the extreme, how could he die so easily? Her pen tapped forcefully on the table. Her eyebrows furrowed in thought. Song Shichuan, what tricks are you playing now? Lu Chen couldn't reach Su Wanqing all night. Ignoring his assistant's objections, he directly pushed open the office door. Only when he clearly saw that there was indeed only Su Wanqing alone in the office did he breathe a sigh of relief. Wanqing. Jie, why aren't you answering my calls? He complained as he walked over, wanting to get closer to Su Wanqing. The girl pushed him away uncomfortably. He smelled of cigarettes. What do you want from me? Seeing Su Wanqing staring at the computer screen, at the stock charts he didn't understand, Lu Chen felt reassured. As long as Su Wanqing's attention wasn't on another man, he could tolerate all her coldness towards him. My cousin is being discharged today. Will you come pick him up with me? For such a small matter, just send the driver. Su Wanqing was about to refuse when she suddenly remembered my words that day. I seemed to be very concerned about Cheng Yi's surgery. Su Wanqing unexpectedly agreed. Xia Qiang cried all night, so tired that he fell asleep on the sofa. Early in the morning, he was woken by his phone ringing. When he opened it, it was the chat window with Su Wanqing, someone he hadn't contacted for several years. The first message was a photo. The woman and the doctor stood together, bowing their heads as if discussing something. Beside them, Cheng Yi was sitting on the hospital bed, his complexion rosy. He didn't look like a patient at all. Below the photo was a prominent message. Look at this. Even if you know my cousin doesn't need surgery, that heart won't be given to you. In the end, it seems to have been given to a man who makes money as a gigolo. I heard the surgery was very successful. Rest for a few months, and that person can be discharged. In Wanqing's heart, you are not even as good as a man who sells himself. Song Shichuan, give up quickly. The only person Wanqing loves now is me. No matter what you do, she won't believe you. Seeing the final destination of that heart, Xia Qiang completely collapsed. He held his phone in front of the black and white photo frame. Shichuan, do you see this? This is the woman you risked your life to save from that fire. Outside the ward, hearing the doctor say that the patient named Song Shichuan had left a month ago, Su Wanqing frowned again. She had no interest in staying at the hospital anymore. Su Wanqing lifted her foot to leave, but before she left, she still asked a question. What was Song Shichuan's illness? The doctor paused. His gaze glanced into the ward, where Lu Chen was smiling and looking this way. His heart tightened. His expression remained normal as he replied that it was acute gastroenteritis. Is there a problem, Director Su? Realizing she had been deceived again, Su Wanqing burst out laughing. But in that laugh, there was a deeper hatred. Nothing. He actually didn't die. What a pity. After speaking, she left without looking back. The doctor wiped the sweat from his forehead. Turning his head, he saw Lu Chen looking at him with a satisfied smile. Su Wanqing returned to the company. The driver hurriedly ran over and handed her a phone. Director Su, you forgot your phone. She didn't pay attention, casually taking it. She asked the secretary beside her, how is Shin's company doing? The secretary hurriedly followed her into the office. Their cash flow has stabilized, and there are signs of improvement. She sneered. They've got some nerve. Intensify the pressure. At all costs. If the board of shareholders has any objections, tell them to come see me themselves. Walking to the office door, she stopped. Her tone grew even colder, making people shiver. Bring Song Shichuan to me. If he's not reconciled and keeps provoking me again and again, then I don't mind letting him taste some suffering. Su Wanqing thought that, with her current influence in Sioux City, finding a Song Shichuan would not be difficult at all. But for an entire week, her people searched everywhere I once appeared. They still couldn't find him. A bunch of useless people, Su Wanqing cursed as she walked out. The secretary hurriedly followed, hesitating before speaking. Director Su, today is young Master Lu Chen's birthday. There's a birthday party at Dihao Hotel. He invited you to come a bit early. Su Wanqing was too lazy to hear another word. Tell him I don't have time. If there's nothing important, don't bother me. She didn't believe it. A living person like me could just vanish from the earth. In a private room at Jing Yuan, as soon as Xia Qiang stepped in, the door was immediately locked from the inside. He realized the danger, turned to leave, but couldn't open the door. Where is Song Shichuan? A voice came from under the dim lights. Only then did he realize who was sitting on the sofa, his fists clenched at his sides. I don't know, 3 days. Su Wangqing's patience was almost exhausted. She waved her hand. Immediately, someone stepped out from the shadows, throwing a large bag in front of Xia Qiang. When Xia Qiang tremblingly opened the bag, he discovered that the barely breathing person inside was the manager of Jing Yuan, his fiancée. He screamed. Su Wangqing's voice was extremely cold. She's not dead yet. Should I tell them to keep beating her, or take her to the next room for emergency medical attention? It all depends on your answer. I'm asking you one last time, where is Song Shichuan? Xia Qiang's eyes turned red with hatred. He held the woman in his arms, who had only one breath left, and she was still telling him not to be afraid. The last thread in his heart snapped. He's dead. Song Shichuan is dead. Su Wangqing approached him. For a friend, is it worth sacrificing your fiancé's life? Or are the people you love all the same in your eyes? Something that can be discarded at any time, an unimportant toy. I don't have the patience to play hide and seek with him. If you don't care about your fiancé's life, then you're just like him. You both just want money. Su Wangqing waved her hand. Immediately, someone else threw another bag in front of Xia Qiang. This time what was different was that inside the bag were neat stacks of cash. All of them were stacks of cash. Xia Qiang held his fiancée tightly, crying in despair. You're crazy. You're truly insane. Song Shichuan clearly treated you so well. He loved you with his life. But what about you? With such a severe heart condition, he waited a very long time to gather enough for hospital fees. It was so difficult to get a surgery scheduled. With just one word, you canceled his surgery. If he can get surgery, he can only watch himself die. You ask me where he is? How can I know where he is? These things you could clearly know if you just investigated, but you never did. Even now, you still don't want to believe that I'm truly gone, but only that I'm acting. The silence stretched on. Su Wangqing stood up and walked out. No way. Evil lives for 1,000 years. A man like him must still be alive. From Jingyuan to the alley I lived in, a half-hour journey, Su Wangqing only took 8 minutes. Her limited-edition sports car had been bumped countless times. The driver's face and hands were covered in blood. Even her steps were a little unsteady. But she didn't seem to feel any pain. She gripped everything she could beside her to get out of the car. Following the floor number reported by her subordinate, she kicked open the old, already shaky door. Inside the clean and tidy room, everything was covered with a thin layer of dust. On the wooden cabinet against the wall, a black and white photo frame quietly sat. The man in the photo sat silently on the hospital bed, his face weak, his smile serene and peaceful. It was Song Shichuan. It really was Song Shichuan. How dare you? Song Shichuan, without my permission, how dare you die? Su Wangqing's fingers trembled. She didn't dare touch that familiar face. I've already forgiven you. Song Shichuan, please stop scaring me. She spat out a mouthful of blood, and the next moment, she completely plunged into darkness. When Su Wangqing woke up, she was in the hospital. The secretary tiptoed in, not daring to disturb the person who had just fainted. General Manager Su, the doctor said, you fainted from extreme anger. You need to rest well. You mustn't have major emotional fluctuations. Before a full recovery, you may experience slight chest discomfort, but these are all normal conditions. Su Wangqing nodded. Her mind was filled with that black and white photo. Her heart ached terribly. I want Cheng Yi's medical records, and also check Song Shichuan's medical examination records. I want everything, the complete set, not missing a single visit. The person she had been searching for 3 days, no one told her I had been hospitalized. She didn't believe Lu Chen wasn't behind this. The secretary's heart tightened. She immediately nodded. Understood. Just as the secretary reached the door, she heard Su Wangqing giving another instruction. Help me schedule a meeting with Shen Zhengjiang. The sooner the better. Although what Xia Qiang said that day wasn't necessarily trustworthy, she still couldn't help but want to investigate thoroughly. From beginning to end, it was I who betrayed him. I abandoned him when he was at his lowest. He never did anything to let me down. Why did Xia Qiang say that he loved me desperately? The Shen family's main residence wasn't in Su City. A 200-square-meter apartment in the city center was Shen Zhengjiang's temporary residence. Compared to her previous casualness, Shen Zhengjiang now looked like an elite businesswoman. The house is a bit small, but fortunately the location isn't bad. The night view is beautiful. General Manager Su, you can come over and take a look. Shen Zhengjiang stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, her wine glass gently swaying. Su Wangqing sat on the sofa, her eyes dark. General Manager Shen truly has an elegant interest. She still has the mood to admire the night view. Under the pressure of Su Corporation, the shares of the company under Shen Zhengjiang's name had plummeted. At this moment, Shen Zhengjiang should have been busy to the point of exhaustion. Shen Zhengjiang smiled, not showing any worry. Instead, she was very cooperative with Su Wangqing. Indeed, there are a few troublesome things affecting my mood. General Manager Su came to see me. Is it because of these matters? Su Wangqing didn't waste words with her. She directly stated her intention. Why did you take Song Shichuan away in the first place? Don't tell me you like him. I know you have a childhood sweetheart fiancé. Your feelings for each other have always been very good. Her question seemed to be within Shen Zhengjiang's expectations. Shen Zhengjiang smiled without a word. After a while, seeing Su Wangqing's patience about to run out, she leisurely spoke. I didn't take him away. He came to me. I brought my husband back to the country to avoid trouble. Just when I encountered your company's troubles. He approached me privately, promising that he could pretend to be my husband and go to W City as a hostage for half a year in place of my husband in exchange for the Shein Corporation secretly supporting you to rebuild your career. I agreed, so I brought him to in-country. This time, General Manager Su has such great hostility towards the Shen Corporation. When you took action, didn't you notice that many of the group's models were similar to the Su Yang Corporation that supported you in rebuilding your career before? Shen Jiangjiang smiled and poured her a glass of wine. Su Wangqing clenched her fists. High achievement threatens the master. With the prestige and status of the Shen family abroad, it was entirely foreseeable that they would be targeted by W City. Being a hostage, eating, living, and moving were all under others' control. Physically, there might be no harm, but the mental torment was not something any ordinary person could endure. She didn't dare to imagine what kind of life I lived during those 6 months. I really couldn't hold back. Su Wangqing punched Shen Jiangjiang in the face. How could you treat him like that? Shen Jiangjiang refused to be outdone. The two immediately started fighting. Both were martial arts practitioners. Neither gained an advantage over the other. 10 minutes later, with bruises on their faces and bodies, the two sat down leaning against the window, thinking of me. A trace of guilt appeared in Shen Jiangjiang's eyes. No woman would want the person she loves most to fall into a dangerous situation. Neither would I. My husband has an upright character. If he went as a hostage, he fundamentally couldn't return alive. So when Song Shichuan came to me, I was moved. Song Shichuan was my good friend from school. I didn't want to harm him either. Before we reached an agreement, I made it clear to Song Shichuan that for half a year, the Shen family might not be able to get him out. Perhaps he would be imprisoned there for life, or even lose his life. But he was very determined, even with a resolve as if he had seen through life and death. Shen Jiangjiang was helpless. Later I learned he had a severe heart condition. How much longer he could live was no longer up to him. Speaking of which, she turned her head and glanced at Su Wangqing. Before he left, he came back to visit you once. On March 16th. You surely wouldn't forget that day. That day, the alley you lived in caught fire. He risked his life to rush in. When he came out, he had many burns on his body. If it weren't for him, you wouldn't have the chance now to come here and fight me. Su Wangqing couldn't hold the wine glass steady. It fell straight to the ground, shattering into countless pieces. Astonishment was clearly visible on her face. How could it be Song Shichuan? Originally, when I left, her heart grew cold. Her last shred of ambition to rebuild her career also vanished. The little money she had left was all spent on alcohol. She spent all day in that rented house drowning in alcohol and despair. She was hardly ever sober. Then, for some unknown reason, the rented house caught fire. She had no thought of escaping. The alcohol numbed her nerves. She closed her eyes and sat in the sea of flames, waiting to die. Pungent smoke rushed into her nose. A suffocating sensation enveloped her. Just when she thought she could finally be free, a figure rushed in, desperately pulling her out. She didn't die. When she woke up, she was in Lu Chen's bed. A huge investment suddenly appeared in the project. She thought Lu Chen was the one who saved her and that the Lu family supported her in rebuilding her career, and I had become a stain, the most regrettable one in her life. But now, Shen Jiangjiang was telling her that the one who had repeatedly helped her get back on her feet was always Song Shichuan. Why is it Song Shichuan? How could it be Song Shichuan? Shen Jiangjiang gave a bitter laugh. She still couldn't believe it. With her current power, finding out these things wouldn't be hard at all. Su Wangqing was silent. Her tightly clenched fist pressed against her wound. Fresh blood seeped through layer by layer. She didn't dare to investigate. How could she dare to investigate? After we met again, you hurt me time and time again. You even stole my only chance at life. She would rather Shen Jiangjiang was lying to her. But the operational model of the Shen family wouldn't deceive anyone. Originally, the person most familiar with the layout of the rented house, who could get her out of the fire during the optimal rescue time, could only be me. Everything was so clear. If only you had been a little more careful, a little more patient with me, she and I wouldn't have ended up like this. I wouldn't have even died. The woman's sorrowful voice, laced with sobs, came through. Why didn't you tell me these things sooner? If Shen Jiangjiang could have appeared just 1 month earlier and told her these things, then everything could still have been salvaged. Shen Jiangjiang sighed softly. The Shen family poured all their efforts into half a year to gain the trust of W City and bring Song Shichuan back. At that time, you already had some reputation. If he wanted to find you, it would have been as easy as turning his hand, but he didn't, and he didn't even want to. What right did anyone else have to interfere and tell you these things? Su Wangqing, you've lost the person who loved you most in this world. The alley in the dead of night was soaked with rain. Su Wangqing stood before the dilapidated house. Everything seemed to return to the moment she had just gone bankrupt. I had pulled her along throughout her peak, passing this small alley without a glance. The bankruptcy seemed to have no effect on me. It's okay. We started from nothing in the first place. At worst, we'll just start over again, I asked. The rent here is very cheap. We can totally afford it. Su Wangqing, let's work hard together and return to our big house. I carried a large bag of things. Inside were all the things we could take after our assets were sealed. A ray of sunshine shone into the alley. At her most desperate moment, I gave her a new home. My thoughts suddenly shifted. The raging fire consumed everything. In the blazing fire, she was about to lose her breath. A figure dragged her out. That person placed a wet cloth over her nose. The familiar scent overwhelmed the acrid smoke. Her consciousness was lucid for a moment. Su Wanqing, hold on a little longer. We're almost out. We'll be out in a moment. Don't fall asleep. I don't want to die yet. You can't die either, you foolish girl. If you ever do something so reckless again, I won't need you anymore. Su Wanqing, we finally made it out. Fragments buried deep in her memory were now infinitely magnified. The towering blaze had been extinguished. The dilapidated, dark house and the identical rented house in front of her overlapped. Shen Jiangjang said, after I returned to the country, all the money I had was used for treatment. Even for a place to live, I sought out the most remote and cheapest place. Clearly, I could have stayed abroad. Under the care of the Xin family, I could have received the best treatment, with the most advanced medical conditions and techniques. But I insisted on coming back, saying that no matter how long I had left to live, I just wanted to be a little closer to my family. I no longer had any other family. Su Wanqing is my only family. Raindrops fell on the roof tiles, making a somewhat noisy sound. The sports car's headlights behind them flickered on and off. Su Wanqing pushed open the room door. The creaking sound in the darkness was particularly jarring. She walked step by step to the black and white photo on the wall, slowly kneeling to the ground. Sichuan. I was wrong. Can you come back? Su Wanqing had locked herself in my rented room for 2 days and 2 nights. When she came out, her face was haggard. Half of her hair had turned white. She didn't look like someone under 30 years old. The secretaries standing outside the door must have stayed awake with her for 2 days too. Their spirits were low. At this moment, each of them held a large stack of documents. They had hoped with great difficulty that Su Wanqing would finally open the door and come out, but when they saw her appearance, no one dared to speak first, fearing they would invite trouble. Su Wanqing tossed the car keys to the nearest person, to the company. After saying that, she paused, then turned her head to look back. She suddenly looked at the door and laughed, as if I were still standing there. Sichuan, I'm going to work now. They'll be right back after work. The group of people exchanged glances, feeling a chill run down their spines. It was too creepy. Su Wanqing's mental state seemed to have some issues. She bought the entire alley, moved all her belongings to the rented room. She didn't let anyone in to clean, doing everything herself. She even cooked her own meals. Every day she would go to work, leave work, and cook meals regularly. On the dining table, a set of my bowls and chopsticks was laid out, as if I had never left. She was like a robot, paralyzed and soulless. Occasionally, she would blurt out a line of dialogue to me, which could make those nearby break out in a cold sweat. But apart from that, there didn't seem to be any other major issues. As for work or negotiating deals with others, she remained just as decisive, just like before. It was just that half-white hair, that she never dyed back. No matter how you looked at it, it was heartbreaking. Lu Chen had come to the alley to find her several times, but each time he was stopped by the bodyguards at the entrance of the alley. The last time he caused trouble, intending to barge in, Su Wanqing's secretary finally couldn't bear it and stepped forward to stop him. Mr. Lu, CO Su already knows the cause of Mr. Song's death. At this point, you should probably go home first. Compared to being avenged by Su Wanqing, just being ignored now, this outcome is still much better. Lu Chen was unwilling, but he didn't dare to provoke Su Wanqing, so he could only slink away. He understood Su Wanqing too well. Once this woman became ruthless, she could do anything. In the resort villa of Yongkang Hospital in Sioux City. The woman sat on the sofa, deep in thought, wondering what she was thinking. The hospital director stood carefully beside her, occasionally glancing at the woman's expression. Finally, the tightly closed door of a room on the second floor opened, the sound attracting the woman's gaze. Several doctors in white coats stepped out, their faces beaming with smiles. Miss Shen, Mr. Shen's bodily functions are recovering steadily, and there's no sign of organ rejection from the heart. This indicates that the surgery was very successful, Miss Shen can rest assured. The hospital director finally breathed a sigh of relief. Just as he was about to speak with a slight smile, he heard the woman's still calm voice. Then why hasn't he woken up yet? It's been over a month since the surgery. Cases of unconsciousness after heart surgery leading to a vegetative state are extremely rare. She wanted to know the reason. The smile on the director's face vanished, replaced by an expression of distress. Miss Shen, regarding Mr. Shen's physical conditions, we certainly put all our efforts into his treatment. The surgery can be said to be very successful, but Mr. Shen still hasn't woken up. The psychological reason is greater than the physiological reason. Shen Jiangjiang said slowly. Are you saying that he himself doesn't want to wake up? The director and several specialists looked at each other, finally having to nod. You could say that. Shen Jiangjiang said nothing more. The Shen family is the biggest investor in this private hospital. If these people weren't 100% sure, they wouldn't dare to speak carelessly about this. But how disappointed with this world must one be, to have not even a trace of the will to live? The main door was pushed open, and someone rushed in. Sichuan, halfway through his sentence, he saw the room was full of people, and the man immediately fell silent. After everyone had left, the man rushed over in a hurry, grabbing Shen Jiangjiang's hand. How is Sichuan? Shen Jiangjiang raised an eyebrow. We haven't seen each other in 2 months, and as soon as you come in, you ask about someone else. You don't care how much your wife has suffered. The man glared at her angrily, tormented by the person he supported, to the point of losing his standing in Sioux City. Do you still have the nerve to speak? Tell me quickly, how is Sichuan now? What did the doctor say? Seeing that her husband still only cared about others, Shen Jiangjiang could only smile and shake her head. The situation isn't very good. He's still not awake. The doctor said it's not due to the surgery, but because he himself has no will to live, he doesn't want to wake up. The man immediately slumped onto the sofa, discouraged. What should we do then? We shouldn't have let him return to the country in the first place. After speaking, he looked at his wife hesitantly. Should we bring Su Wangqing here? Seeing Su Wangqing, Sichuan might wake up. After all, when I left the Shen family, I personally said that Su Wangqing was the only relative Tong Sichuan had left in this world. Hearing that, Shen Zhengzheng flatly shook her head. It's not time yet. I've blocked the news of him being alive. Even the main attending physician thinks he's a Xin family member. In the eyes of everyone who knows him, he's already dead. As long as he can wake up, he can completely choose a new life. At that time, let him decide for himself whether or not to tell Su Wangqing he's alive. Her gaze fell towards the closed patient room on the second floor. Perhaps creating some appropriate impact and stimulation would be beneficial. Su Wangqing herself can't come, but her voice can. Gu Xian changed into a sterile suit and entered the spotless patient room. When he saw the young man with his eyes tightly shut, skinny and emaciated on the hospital bed, he almost burst into tears. The guilt that had lingered for so long reached its peak at this moment. Initially, when he learned that Shen Jiangjiang had found a young man to replace him as a hostage, he had a huge argument with Shen Jiangjiang, but it was already done, and no one could change it. He could only watch helplessly as that young man took his place, as if imprisoned in that magnificent palace, suffering day after day. At that time, I promised that I would do my best to repay him. But after I was released, the only request I made to him was a plane ticket back to Sioux City. Half a year, as long as an entire year, has passed. Why did he end up like this so soon after returning home? His eyes red-rimmed, he picked up a warm towel and carefully wiped the face of the sleeping me. I heard Su Wangqing went crazy, talking to a photo all day. You like her so much, you definitely wouldn't want to see her like that. Tong Sichuan, wake up. I'll take you to find her. Tell her everything, and then happily be with her, okay? I, in a coma, still showed no signs of movement. It's just that where no one could see, the warm fingers under the blanket subtly twitched. In waking me up, Gu Xian was more persistent than anyone. Su Wangqing's interview videos, voice messages with friends, even recordings of Su Wangqing assigning tasks to her subordinates in the work group as long as he could find them were all brought by him and played repeatedly in my hospital room. Before the nurse and Shen Jiangjiang were driven crazy by his persistence, I, who had been in a coma for 3 months, miraculously woke up. In the patient room, the two young men stared at each other in surprise. I suddenly opened my eyes. Gu Xian, who was wiping my hands, didn't react in time, staring blankly at me. It was Shen Jiangjiang who finally reacted, hurrying to tell someone to call the doctor. It was then that Gu Xian came back to his senses, happily bending down and embracing me. Sichuan, you're finally awake. He knew it. A good person like me, heaven would surely bless me. For 3 months, relying only on nutrient fluids to maintain body functions, I wasn't just terrifyingly thin, but my movements were also a bit sluggish. I numbly allowed myself to be hugged, indifferently watching the joy and excitement of everyone around me, finally opening my mouth under Gu Xian's joyful gaze. Who is it? The patient room immediately fell silent. The smile on Gu Xian's face froze. He gently released me from his embrace, staring intently into my eyes and asked uncertainly, Sichuan, you don't remember me? I'm Gu Xian. I suffered for him for half a year. How could I forget him? I lay on the hospital bed thinking very seriously and finally shook my head. Gu Xian, I don't remember. Then who am I? In an instant, the smiles on everyone's faces vanished. What kind of situation is this? I'm awake, but not fully awake. Shen Jiangjiang stepped forward. So do you remember me? I shook my head flatly. No, I don't remember. In my mind, it's a foggy expanse, a blank white, like a blank sheet of paper, with nothing at all. These people before my eyes, I don't know any of them. It's just that my subconscious can feel that these people bear no ill will towards me. Shen Jiangjiang was silent. More than 10 specialists rushed in, busily surrounding me, checking my heart rate and checking my mind. Finally, they came to a rather reasonable conclusion. It must be a complication. Before the surgery, Brother Shen was already a bit disoriented. Now it's just a more severe situation. But Miss Shen and you, rest assured, this increase is merely a deficit in his memory. His heart and other body parts are fine, recovering very well. As for his memory, take him to familiar places to walk around more, and he might remember. After seeing the doctors off, Gu Xian and Shen Jiangjiang looked at each other. In that instant, they understood that the other was thinking the same thing. Holding on to painful memories would only add to the distress. If heaven has given me a chance to start over, it's better to live a completely new life. Gu Xian pushed open the door to the patient room and saw me staring blankly out the window, unusually quiet. He walked over and waved his hand in front of my eyes. Sichuan, the doctor said, your body is recovering very well. Just get good rest from now on and you'll recover quickly, don't worry. My neat short black hair was gently ruffled by Gu Xian, making my cheekbones look even thinner. You still haven't told me who I am. Gu Xian took out his phone and found a group photo of them when they were in America. In the photo, several people smiled brightly. Just looking at the photo, one could feel their joy and happiness at that time. You are the Xin family's maternal young master, Shen Shichuan. In the Shen family home, Shen Jiangjiang stood before the floor-to-ceiling window, watching the men sketching together in the garden, then looking at the dismal stock market on her computer. She rubbed her forehead with a hint of distress. She really didn't understand. The misunderstanding from that year had also been resolved. Su Wangqing also clearly knew who was the one who had silently supported her to her current position. So why does the Su family relentlessly pursue the Xin family's branch company in Su City? Isn't Su Wangqing's action akin to returning kindness with enmity? Guxian walked in, the paintbrush in his hand twirling like a small pinwheel. Have you thought it through? Are we going back to the old home? The Shen family's ancestral business isn't in Su City, so the old home is naturally not here either. If we have to go, he would definitely take me with him. As for me, I've completely forgotten my past. Anywhere is the same. But deep down, they know Su City is my hometown. Taking me away like this, he must feel somewhat guilty and uneasy. Because of this, Gu Xian has been troubled for 2 days. Previously, Shen Jiangjiang maintained the attitude that anywhere was fine. At this moment, looking at the computer screen, she almost burst out laughing. Go immediately. If the Shen family is not allowed to stay in Su City, then let Su Wangqing go mad in her solitude alone. It's nice to suddenly pick up a younger cousin. Older cousin, what are you two talking about? I, with my buzz cut, ran in, naturally linking arms with Guxian. Guxian put his arm around my shoulder, saying he would take me shopping in the afternoon. Couldn't you stand being at home? Go out and have fun. When the secretary reported that the Shen group intended to withdraw from Su City, Su Wangqing didn't even lift her head, just hummed. After the secretary left, she finally lifted her head from the stack of documents, directing her gaze towards the photo on her desk. That was after he left. He had left behind their only shared photo from their youth. In the photo, I stood beside her, holding fresh flowers, smiling brightly. Such a sunny young man. I can't imagine how he endured those 6 months of captivity. She only destroyed a branch company under Shen Jiangjiang's name. It's not too much. CO Su, the managers have arrived, waiting for you in the meeting room. The secretary knocked and reported, interrupting Su Wangqing's thoughts. Her gaze returned to calm. She stood up expressionlessly. No meeting today. Go inspect the counters. Address any issues on the spot. The secretary's heart skipped a beat, silently mourning for those managers. Still, she quickly followed Su Wangqing out. A surprise inspection, giving people no time to prepare. Naturally, a pile of problems were discovered. After only half an hour of inspection, Su Wangqing's face was so grim it looked like water could be wrung from it. In the elevator area, everyone followed her into the elevator, each one as silent as a winter cicada, only daring to silently scream in their hearts. The silence in the elevator made the clear male voice from outside particularly distinct. Older cousin, wait for me, my shoelace came undone. For a moment, Su Wangqing's calm eyes stirred with a storm. Song Shichuan's voice. She immediately pressed to open the elevator door, disregarding the doubts of everyone behind her, and quickly ran out, searching everywhere. It was the busiest time at the mall. The fleeting voice from just now had vanished amidst the bustling crowd. Su Wangqing couldn't find the familiar figure from her memory at all. She stood still, like a child abandoned by their parents. Did you hear Song Shichuan's voice just now? The secretary was right behind her. As former university classmates, the secretary was no stranger to my voice. The secretary sighed. It's probably just a similar voice. CEO Su, perhaps you should go upstairs and rest for a bit. There were words the secretary didn't dare to say directly. Ever since I passed away, CEO Su has suffered from hallucinations and auditory hallucinations more than once. Even the psychiatrist was at a loss. Perhaps it's because there have been many things lately. The mental pressure is too great. CEO Su is hearing auditory hallucinations again. Su Wangqing was silent. She could understand the secretary's meaning. But, go to the monitoring room. But even if she couldn't distinguish between reality and illusion, even if there was only 1 in 10,000 chances, she didn't want to just let it go. What if he really came back? What was displayed on the monitoring screen was the playback from the surveillance camera in front of the elevator area. Su Wangqing stared at the screen, not missing a single second. Time passed little by little, 1 hour, 2 hours. From afternoon watching until night, Su Wangqing stayed in the monitoring room all day, watching all the surveillance footage around that elevator, still couldn't find the person she was looking for. By this point, she finally had to admit, it might really just be an auditory hallucination. CEO Su, it's already midnight. The person in charge of the monitoring room subtly came forward to remind her. Su Wangqing's expression didn't change, still looking at the monitoring screen. She just waved her hand behind her. You all can leave. No one needs to stay on duty tonight. After everyone had left, she told the secretary to bring red wine and replayed the footage. Frame by frame, images flashed before her eyes. A bottle of wine was quickly emptied. Then came the second bottle, the third. As a severe cramping pain surged from her stomach, Su Wangqing's consciousness was already a bit hazy. She completely forgot how many bottles of wine she had drunk. She sat silently on the chair, waves of intense pain radiating from her internal organs, but she showed no reaction. Clear tears streamed down the corners of her eyes. Before, when he drank so much wine to save money for surgery, when he drank so much wine, did it hurt like this too? Song Shichuan, I was wrong. It'll give you my heart. Can you come back and look at me just once? Her consciousness gradually blurred. The next moment, her eyes, which were looking at the monitoring screen, suddenly widened. After reacting, her consciousness instantly cleared. She immediately jumped up, her fingers rapidly moving on the keyboard. She found the image that had just flashed by. In the image, a young boy in a white t-shirt with a bright smile walked through the mall lobby. Although the boy was frighteningly thin, unable to match the figure in her memory, her eyes still instantly turned red. Sichuan. Having walked all day, I was also tired. The butler had already taken the spoils of our day-long shopping trip home earlier. I sat alone, resting in the lobby's rest area. Footsteps sounded in front of me. As soon as I looked up, I saw a haggard, absent-minded woman with an extremely unnatural expression staring at me. I tried to appear calm, took out my phone and put it to my ear, pretending to be on a call, wanting to walk past the woman and leave, but just as I turned around, I heard the woman's choked voice behind me. Sichuan, is it really you? The familiar voice pierced through my eardrums, going straight into the depths of my heart. I don't know why I found this person's voice so familiar that I unconsciously stopped and turned to look at her. The woman was wearing a designer outfit, which should have made her look very elegant, but her face clearly showed fatigue. Her eyes were dark, more than half of her hair had turned gray, making her look as if she was in her 40s. I thought for a long time but couldn't remember who this person was, only feeling a sting in the corners of my eyes. Looking at this woman, I wanted to cry again. Why? Do you know me? I couldn't help but speak, but the woman ignored my question, quickly stepped forward and hugged me tightly. I missed you so much. She was afraid it was just a hallucination. I was startled. No matter how familiar the feeling, it was replaced by fear in this moment. Damn it, I'm not running into a pervert, am I? My body's instincts reacted faster than my brain. My legs, clad in regular pants, recoiled and kicked up. The woman tumbled to the ground. She couldn't get up immediately, but her eyes were still staring intensely at me, and my heart suddenly ached. It hurt as if struck by a powerful blow. Gu Xian hurriedly pushed through the crowd and pulled me back. Sichuan, don't be afraid. It's okay now. It's okay. My tears kept falling. I didn't dare to look at that woman's face anymore. Cousin, my heart hurts so much. I want to go home. Gu Xian instantly grew worried. I just had heart surgery. Don't tell me the surgery left some sequelae. He quickly helped me towards the parking lot, and didn't forget to instruct the mall security who had just arrived late. How can your mall let a crazy person inside? I've already called the police. Keep a close eye on that person. Wait for the police to arrive. The woman, pinned to the ground by security, struggled relentlessly. She could only watch helplessly as that figure moved further and further away, until it completely disappeared. Su Wanqing opened her eyes. Above her was the familiar crystal chandelier. The room had a familiar soothing scent. It was her lounge. When did I get back? Last night, I dreamed of him again. Such a vivid dream. He even held me in his arms, feeling the warmth from my body. She moved. The throbbing pain spreading through her body startled her. She rolled up her sleeve. The bruises left from being restrained appeared very clearly. Just then, her secretary called. President Su, those people called the police last night. The police are here. Would you like to go meet them for a bit? To clear up the misunderstanding? After the surprise, an extreme joy surged in her heart. It's real, it wasn't a dream. I'm really still alive. The police had never seen anyone so cooperative. As soon as they entered the office, President Su of the Su Group, dressed impeccably, immediately held out her hands in front of them. I admit I'm at fault. I am willing to cooperate and go with you. The police were stunned. The secretary was stunned. The security director, who had just spent the entire time explaining to the police that this was a misunderstanding, was also stunned. What is my boss doing? The secretary, afraid Su Wanqing's mind wasn't clear after waking up, couldn't help but step forward and quietly remind her. President Su, it's just a procedural inquiry. It's not to the extent of an arrest. It's just a misunderstanding. Just explain it clearly. Su Wanqing directly interrupted him. Since the other party has reported to the police, it's better to go and give a statement to prove it. Officers, let's go. Gu Xian grumbled all the way to the police station. When he got out of the car, his face was still full of resentment. I already said I won't forgive. I don't need any compensation from the other party. I just need the law to punish her severely. Why are we still forced to make a trip here? In cases without negotiation, whether it's giving a statement or a lawsuit, a lawyer always represents the victim. Gu Xian truly didn't understand what the point of coming here was. The representing lawyer leading the way didn't refute him. He just smiled and led them into the lounge, and as soon as they entered, Gu Xian immediately saw the woman sitting with her back to him. He immediately spoke up, displeased. Is Yuncheng's security that bad, locking a crazy person in the lounge? The lawyer said you wanted to meet me. If there's anything, say it quickly. This old man still has to catch a flight. I don't have time to dilly-dally with you here. This woman almost scared my brother into a heart attack relapse. He won't accept any reconciliation. She must be severely punished. The woman chuckled softly. With a face Gu Xian was familiar with, more familiar than ever, she turned around. I'm afraid you won't be able to leave. Mr. Gu, long time no see. Still well? The anger on Gu Xian's face turned to shock. How is it you? No wonder he wondered yesterday how such a large mall could let a crazy person inside. Su Wanqing calmly poured him a glass of water. Gu Xian very politely pushed the glass of water away a bit. Why can't it be me? We're all old friends. Why are you so heavily on guard against me? Where's Song Shichuan? Where did you hide him? Gu Xian frowned. No wonder the lawyer said the other party requested direct mediation. If it's you, it's not strange. But how did you know I was the one who took Song Shichuan away? As soon as she thought of me, Su Wangqing's voice dropped considerably. I didn't know before. Now I know. So explain, why does Song Shichuan call you cousin? Where did you find him? There's no such thing as coming back from the dead. I stood alive and well in front of him, which means I was never dead to begin with. So, who exactly lied to him? Was it Xie Qiang or Shen Jiang who told him so many past events? Gu Xian remained silent. Su Wangqing didn't mind. She had more pressing concerns. Take me to see him. Even if it's all a misunderstanding or someone's intentional arrangement, it doesn't matter. Right now, I just want to see him. He would rather it all be my doing, rather that everything Shen Jiang said was fabricated. He would rather the heart disease Xie Qiang spoke of and the death were merely my painful deception. That black and white album in the alley was his nightmare. After I left, he only then realized my importance in his life. His lifelong wish was just that I would live well. Looking at the flight cancellation notification on his phone, Gu Xian smirked. He gave Su Wangqing a frosty look. If you're so capable covering the sky with one hand in Sucheng, then go find him yourself. After speaking, he stood up and left. Su Wangqing didn't force him to stay. Meeting in a hurry yesterday, she could tell, I was very dependent on this cousin Gu Xian. She didn't want to hurt someone I cared about. Since she already knew the other party was Shen Jiang, then finding him wouldn't be troublesome. Su Wangqing called her secretary. Investigate Shen Jiang, the movements of everyone in the Shen family over the past 6 months. Don't miss any details. I need to know everything. Driving on the estate road, a black car, at an extremely fast speed, forced a normally driven red sports car to stop. The two cars scraped against each other. The harsh screech echoed in the clear sky. A car accident almost happened. Shen Jiang's face was icy cold. After calming down, she got out of the car to look at the person blocking her sports car. Su Wangqing leaned against the black car. She took off her sunglasses and wiped them. President Shen, where are you rushing off to? After I passed away, this was the second time they met. Shen Jiang sneered. Where I go doesn't seem to concern President Su, does it? I value my life very much, President Su. Next time you do something reckless like this, please find someone else. Don't come looking for me. Su Wangqing unceremoniously threw her car keys. She directly opened the door of the red sports car and got in. It's just one car. It'll compensate President Shen with 10. Now, I invite President Shen to take me to see him. Thank you. Her joking tone carried absolute seriousness. Shen Jiang was unmoved. I don't understand what you're saying. Su Wangqing tossed out a stack of documents. 3 months ago, the Shen family invited dozens of top cardiologists to perform a heart transplant for the young master of the Shen family. The surgery was very successful. Young Master Shen was successfully saved. Coincidentally, this young Master Shen is named Shichuan. What's even more coincidental is that young Master Shen's appearance is identical to Wang Fu's. Even her voice is similar. Shen Jiang is smart. There's no need to feign ignorance anymore, not when the truth has been exposed. Take me to see him. Shen Jiang looked at the stack of documents, and only much later did she look up. Are you sure you want to meet him? You might regret it once you do. I've already done the most regrettable thing in my life. Not being able to see him is what I regret. At the Shen family's villa, Su Wangqing sat on the sofa, staring at me, who was sitting opposite without moving, trying to suppress the urge to pull me into her arms. Shichuan, you still don't remember? You've known each other for years. Gu Xian spoke softly. Everyone was watching my expression, and Su Wangqing was full of anticipation. After a while, I still shook my head. I don't remember. Were we very close friends before? Then why do I want to cry every time I see this woman? Did something happen? Everyone looked towards Su Wangqing. Only she could answer that question. Say we were husband and wife, but when I left, I had already signed the divorce agreement with him. Say we were lovers, but how could he be worthy of my love for him? Finally, Su Wangqing tried to suppress her emotions and slowly nodded. Yes, we were very close friends. Shen Jiang sighed helplessly and waved at Gu Xian and me. You two, go outside. We have something to discuss. I felt a burden lifted and relieved. I stood up and went into the garden. Su Wangqing's gaze followed me the entire time, unable to tear away. He has forgotten everyone, forgotten you, forgotten that he ever loved you. Su Wangqing, do you regret coming to see him? Compared to being separated by life and death when love was strongest, watching the person you love no longer love you seems even crueler. At first, I said I didn't love her anymore and wanted to leave. Su Wangqing's heart turned cold, and she almost died in a sea of fire. This time, I truly don't love her anymore. If she wants to seek death again, no one will rush into the flames to save her. Su Wangqing sat there silently. No one knew what she was thinking. Looking at the hem of my clothes fluttering in the sun, she suddenly burst out laughing. Do you still remember how he looked in school? Exactly like now. Heaven has given her a chance to make amends. She couldn't be more grateful. How could she regret it? Watching Gu Xian and I walk into the kitchen with our arms around each other, Su Wangqing finally reluctantly pulled back her gaze. Thank you for saving his life. What do you want? Anything I can do, I'll agree. Shen Jiang raised an eyebrow. I want all your shares in Su Corporation. Would you give them too? Su Wangqing didn't hesitate for a moment. Okay, I'll have the legal department prepare the share transfer agreement. Shen Jiang stopped her from reaching for her phone. All right. My Shen family has vast assets. We don't care about your small company. If you really want to repay me, then buy me a new car. I want that unique international limited edition, thank you. Su Wangqing smiled for the first time in half a year. No problem. Even though no one invited her, Su Wangqing shamelessly stayed at the Shen family's house to freeload a meal. I don't like cilantro. I didn't touch any dishes with cilantro. Su Wangqing herself barely ate a few bites, yet she sat and meticulously picked out all the cilantro from the beef dish, then placed the beef dish in front of me. I was overwhelmed by the favor. Thank you. Su Wangqing looked at me, her eyes and smiled gentle. No need to be polite. Then she started picking out the next dish. After the meal, Su Wangqing didn't say she was leaving. She just sat with me, drawing in the garden. Gu Xian sat lazily on the sofa with Shen Jiang, each with a lollipop in their mouth, watching the two harmonious figures in the garden. Didn't you say not to let Su Wangqing know that Song Shichuan was still alive? Why did you bring him back here? Shen Jiang sighed. Su Wangqing is just crazy. You didn't see how she chased my car today. If I didn't bring him back, your wife's little life would eventually be lost. Besides, Sichuan didn't want to come with us. What could we do? The plane tickets were already bought. We were already at the airport. The whole family was about to return to the old home to live a happy life. He changed his mind. He just said he seemed to have forgotten something, and it was something that could only be done in Sucheng. The whole family had to turn back again, and the departure date was postponed by 2 days. If it weren't for these 2 days, Su Wangqing wouldn't have had the chance to meet me alive. In the garden, Su Wangqing carefully brought me hot water, letting it cool down before handing it to me. The temperature was just right and it was pleasant to drink. I looked up at her. Were we always so harmonious before? My question made Su Wangqing silent. How did she treat me before? She watched me being tortured half to death by others. She watched me live in a dilapidated rented house, leaky in summer, drafty in winter. She even doubted me at the last moment of my life, mocked me, and snatched away my only hope of living. She couldn't say these words. Perhaps realizing Su Wangqing's unusual expression, I chuckled. I just asked casually, just a little curious about what happened before. You know, I don't remember anything. Su Wangqing breathed a sigh of relief and couldn't help but pat my head. It's okay if you don't remember the past. Those memories were so painful for me. It's better to forget them. After that day, Su Wangqing always had all sorts of reasons to visit the Shen family. Today, she'd freeload a meal. Tomorrow, bring a project. The day after, sign a project. The subsidiary under Shen Jiang's name was about to go bankrupt and close, but she revived it, and in one step, it became second in Sucheng. I also got used to having such a person by my side. I have amnesia, but Su Wangqing's feelings for me are so intense, I can't help but notice. The strange thing is, deep down, I don't feel any resistance towards this affection. I willingly went with Su Wangqing to various places. My previous memories are still blank, but the memories after waking up are all beautiful. Sichuan, you can't go to Kiki's opening ceremony this afternoon. Old master is returning home. You have to go with my older cousin to pick him up. Can I go help you? Over the phone, Gu Xian's voice was full of distress. Xia Qiang is Gu Xian's close friend. Recently, he's taken an interest in soft pottery, so he opened a soft pottery experience store. Today is the grand opening. If it weren't for an urgent matter, Gu Xian would definitely have attended. After losing my memory, I have been almost completely obedient to this cousin, Gu Xian. According to him, family won't harm you. This time, of course, I didn't refuse Gu Xian's request either. The call ended, and I looked apologetically at Su Wangqing beside me. Sister Su, let's go to the art exhibition next time. I have something to do this afternoon. Sorry about that. I felt a bit guilty, as I had already agreed, and now I was suddenly standing Su Wangqing up. Su Wangqing smiled and moved closer to me, placing her hands on either side of me. Call me Wangqing, and I'll forgive you. My face suddenly flushed, and immediately after, I nimbly slipped out of Su Wangqing's embrace. Under Su Wangqing's surprised gaze, I laughed and ran upstairs. I'm going to change, Sister Su. If you're free later, let's go out together. The woman burst out laughing, withdrew her hand that was resting on the sofa, his smile unchanging. Pottery Studio. I looked at the clay, with eyes full of curiosity. Su Wangqing, have you ever done this before? I looked very expectant. Su Wangqing looked troubled. She used to be so busy with work, she never had time for this kind of thing. But there was nothing she couldn't learn. Come on, let's learn together. She gently took my hand and placed it on the clay. Following the rotation of the wheel, the clay was gradually shaped. I felt the warmth from her palm. My cheeks flushed slightly. It wasn't that difficult. With a few lumps of clay, we slowly grasped some techniques. A crooked little vase stood quietly on our workbench. We actually made it. Hey, Su Wangqing looked at me, as if looking at her entire world. The warm atmosphere was interrupted by an angry shout. Song Shichuan, you bastard, why aren't you dead yet? A disheveled madman rushed in. Before the security guards could react, he fiercely charged at me. Su Wangqing was quick-witted, having a bodyguard kick the man away. Su Wangqing didn't expect such an unexpected incident. When she finally recognized the madman's face, the wariness in her eyes instantly turned to disgust. Lu Chen, how dare you show your face to me again? Seeing Su Wangqing, Lu Chen suddenly burst into tears. Su Wangqing, you're heartless. I gave you everything I could. How could you treat me like this? The Lu family is gone. I don't have long to live either. I hate you so much. Su Wangqing's expression was cold. The Lu family brought this upon yourselves. She never thought of harming the Lu family, even though Lu Chen initially took credit for my achievements. But these matters didn't concern the elderly or children of the Lu family. However, they shouldn't have been so greedy. They shouldn't have, after she left Lu Chen, used the Lu family's shares in Su Group to threaten her and force her to marry Lu Chen. This was a family she had single-handedly supported. If they didn't want to be under her control, then there was no need to keep them. Who is he? My questioning voice came from behind. Su Wangqing turned her head and saw me pressing my temples, frowning in pain. Su Wangqing's heart skipped a beat. She immediately blocked my view of Lu Chen. Don't be scared, he's just a madman. It's nothing important. Su Wangqing's words provoked Lu Chen. He began frantically tearing at his patient gown, revealing his chest. You forced me to go crazy. Look at my heart. Look at Song Shichuan. Su Wangqing swapped my heart. She resented me for stealing your things, resented me for causing your death. She wanted me to go to hell to keep you company. But you're clearly still alive and well. You're clearly fine. He collapsed, screaming. Security, tie him up. He suddenly knelt before Su Wangqing. Sister Wangqing, please give me back my heart. I don't want to die. I can't bear this tormenting pain anymore. Please, I beg you. The security guards dragged him out. The pottery studio became quiet again. On the way home, I didn't say a word. Eventually, Su Wangqing couldn't stand the silence. She sighed and spoke. Shichuan, just ask what you want to ask. I looked up at her from the passenger seat. He called me Song Shichuan. Who is Song Shichuan? My name is Shen Shichuan. If he knew me from before, there's no way he wouldn't know my name. Su Wangqing's expression remained calm. Don't take the words of a madman to heart. I frowned, knowing she wasn't telling the truth, but I couldn't pry it out of her. I could only ask the next question. He said you hated him for stealing my things and taking his heart. What did that mean? Besides, he's clearly fine. His chest has no scars. At that time, those around us were either suspicious or disgusted, but everyone clearly saw that the madman's chest skin was flat. He couldn't have possibly had heart surgery. I myself have had heart surgery, so I know better than anyone what a scar looks like. Su Wangqing was silent. After a while, she still intended to tell me the truth. Before Shen Zhengzheng found a compatible heart for you, the hospital had already found a voluntary donor. It was your turn for this surgery. It was before the surgery that the Lu family said they needed this heart for their son, Lu Chen. If Shen Zhengzheng hadn't prepared beforehand, I wouldn't have had any hope of survival. You owe Shen Zhengzheng your life, and you owe me your life. The story of how he got the hospital, to change the surgery from me to Cheng Yi, he still didn't have the courage to tell me directly. Who would forgive someone who stole their chance at life? He will use the rest of his life to atone, but this requires me to give him a chance. As for his heart, no one wanted it. Perhaps it was guilt towards you in his heart that made him so stubborn as to say those insane words. I naturally knew the truth wasn't as simple as Su Wangqing said, but since Su Wangqing wouldn't speak, I could investigate it myself. With my status as the Xin family's distant young master here, finding a private detective wasn't difficult. Deliberately avoiding Gu Xian and Su Wangqing, I secretly left the Shen family home alone. From meeting the private detective to making my request and negotiating the price, it only took half an hour. Everything went incredibly smoothly. My mood was excellent. Walking on the small road, I just waited for the other party to bring me useful information. But I didn't notice the old house at the corner of the street, where a sinister pair of eyes was staring at me. Song Shichuan, today I'll make you pay the price. I didn't expect that the first time. I went out alone. I would be kidnapped. In the dark basement, the extremely grating sound of a knife being sharpened woke me from my drugged state. Lu Chen, in disheveled clothes, sat there, holding a gleaming kitchen knife. Others sharpened knives to make the blade sharper, but he was dulling the blade. Awake now? Don't rush. Wait a moment. Let me dull the blade first. When that heartless bitch Su Wangqing arrives, I want her to witness with her own eyes how painfully you die. A quick death isn't torture. He wants to reclaim the torment he suffered on my body. If you won't let me live, then let's all die together. My body trembled, but I still tried to remain calm. You won't die. Your heart hasn't been touched at all. Your body has no problems, so there's no need to hastily drag everyone down with you. Lu Chen screamed again. What do you mean, untouched? Do you know how painful it was with the surgical lights shining overhead and those murderers holding scalpels, placing them on my body? You wanted me dead. You are all murderers. You deserve to die. At this point, I knew that talking to a madman wouldn't lead to reason. But the opponent tied me too tightly. It was completely impossible for me to secretly untie myself. Fortunately, the opponent seemed to have notified Su Wangqing. As soon as I thought of this, my heart inexplicably felt at ease. Su Wangqing wouldn't just sit there and wait for me to die. She would definitely get me out safely. Time passed, second by second. Su Wangqing indeed didn't make others wait too long. It's just that, seeing Su Wangqing alone appear at the door, my head was full of question marks. May I ask? Big sis, did you come alone? I looked carefully several times, but I saw no one behind Su Wangqing. My heart went cold. When Su Wangqing saw me, tied up and thrown in a puddle of dirty water, her eyes turned red, her fists clenched tightly, and she quickly walked over to hug me. Shichuan, don't be afraid. I was at a loss whether to cry or laugh. Big sis, did you really come alone? At a time like this, you don't need to be so obedient, do you? Su Wangqing gave me a reassuring look, then turned to Lu Chen. What do you want? I can forgive the Lu family and safely get you out of Sucheng. Hearing this, Lu Chen laughed manically. I just want you both dead. Looking at the two people hugging in front of him, hatred in his eyes deepened. He raised his knife and charged. Watch out, I yelled loudly. But Su Wangqing was not flustered at all. She stood up and kicked him away. When Lu Chen got up again and limped towards us, I noticed that his leg seemed to have a problem. His leg had been broken before, so he couldn't possibly injure anyone. I've already had someone deal with the accomplices outside. Don't be afraid. Let's go home. Facing me, Su Wangqing's voice was gentle again. I was speechless. Then why didn't you just tell me earlier? You let me worry and be scared, but don't mention it. The feeling of narrowly escaping death is truly amazing. Su Wangqing untied the ropes from my body. Seeing both my ankles bruised from the ropes, her eyes turned cold as she helped me up. Lu Chen, it seems I've been too kind to the Lu family. She helped me walk out. It wasn't hard to imagine what Lu Chen, that madman, would face next. Lu Chen was both crying and laughing. If he still had a shred of sanity left just now he was completely insane. The Lu family. Ha ha ha, what Lu family is left? I can't live anymore. You all die with me. A deep sense of unease immediately rose in my heart. I immediately looked at the madman behind Su Wangqing. The next second, my pupils contracted violently. Wangqing bang, my terrified scream and the gunshot rang out simultaneously. The people who had dealt with the accomplices rushed in, seeing Su Wangqing covered in blood. Not until the surroundings were completely safe did Su Wangqing finally breathe a sigh of relief, forcing a smile. She fell into my arms. It's a good thing you're okay. Su Wangqing tears streamed down my face. I don't know why, but seeing the injured woman in front of me, my heart ached so much. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Su Wangqing endured the pain and comforted me. People around us gathered one after another. Someone called the police and emergency services. Lu Chen was restrained by everyone, screaming, crying, and laughing maniacally. He was completely mad. No one expected Lu Chen to be carrying a gun. I thought it would have been better if I had been the one shot. After all, this body was already full of injuries, so another bullet wouldn't matter. But Su Wangqing, I hoped she would be safe and sound. After emergency treatment, Su Wangqing was out of danger. I guarded her bedside, refusing to leave no matter who tried to persuade me. The day Su Wangqing woke up, I was sitting by the bed peeling an apple, quietly. She just looked at me for a long time, then watched me in surprise when I realized she was awake, and hurriedly ran out to call the doctor. So lively, Su Wangqing burst out laughing. It's good that Sichuan is okay. After the doctor finished the examination, all the vital signs were fine. Everyone finally felt relieved. I looked at her pale face, a bitter ache rising in my heart. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. If I hadn't gone out alone, that madman wouldn't have had a chance to take advantage. Su Wangqing tried to reach out and touch my face, but she was still a bit weak. No need to apologize. With me here, you can do anything you want. She gently stroked my palm. If you really want to know about the past, I can tell you everything, one by one. She regretted it deeply. If she had explained everything clearly then, I wouldn't have gone looking for a private detective, nor would I have fallen into danger. Ultimately, she was the one who failed to protect me properly. As for those past events, she should have told me directly. Even if it meant losing the chance to be with me, I had the right to know the past. I looked at her and slowly shook my head. My memory has recovered. In an instant, Su Wangqing's heart stopped beating. Her chest ached so much she couldn't breathe. I lowered my head. All of the past. I remember everything. The moment Su Wangqing fell into the pool of blood, countless fragmented images flashed through my mind. The thoughts that appeared countless times in my dreams which I couldn't grasp, all flooded into my mind. Every single moment between Su Wangqing and me, the happy times we spent together and everything I had done for her, whether it was joy or sorrow, I remembered it all. A long while later, Su Wangqing finally found her voice again. Her eyes were filled with complex emotions. Sichuan, I wronged you. She knew the hurt she had caused me could not be undone with a simple apology. I suddenly laughed again, looking at her with clear and bright eyes. Su Wangqing, I've forgiven you. My delicate face reflected the shimmering sunlight, like a ray of light illuminating the gloomy depths of Su Wangqing's heart. Su Wangqing's eyes reddened. I raised my hand to stop her words. Perhaps you don't believe it, but even when I lost my memory, the person my body and heart chose was still you. When you fell, when I thought I was about to lose you again, nothing else mattered. I just wanted you to live. I thought losing my memory meant I could forget loving you, but when you appeared before me again, I couldn't help but put you back into my heart. I nestled into Su Wangqing's embrace, savoring the warmth of our reunion after so many days apart. No one knows, the moment my memory returned, I wished I had died half a year ago. That way, at least Su Wangqing could live well. Fortunately, Lu Chen's bullet didn't hit a vital spot, so Su Wangqing could still be saved. Su Wangqing tried to control her trembling body, her emotional voice filled with deep remorse. You believe Song Sichuan. I understand this feeling better than anyone. The pain of separation by life and death, the joy of finding what was lost, she understood better than anyone. Sichuan, from now on, my life is yours. All the debts from before, I will spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I looked up into Su Wangqing's eyes. Su Wangqing, do you still love me? Before, when she said those cruel words to me, I truly thought she hated me to the bone. Now I want to confirm that what she feels for me is love, not guilt. Su Wonking didn't hesitate for a moment, her eyes firm and affectionate. I loved you before, and I will love you later. I only love you. I smiled contentedly. Whether I lost my memory or not, hearts that uncontrollably want to be close cannot be deceived. Fortunately, in the end, we still found our way back to each other.